Well, hello, folks. For those again who sign in a little bit early, you get to understand that we do some background work in terms of getting ourselves settled. And we do this deliberately because we want you to understand that as new as we are at podcasting and we'll make our mistakes and share them with you, we're going to get pretty good at this. And already we're in our 11th session. And I think we're better than what we
Woo!
were before. So I'm looking at Tommy here.
Don't
And the
be so sure.
Tommy can almost be a girl today. He's color coordinated. He's got the colors on and they're matching and everything like that. Even the gray hair matches with everything going on. You're pretty sharp.
I don't want to say anything, but you can't say he's almost like a girl. That's
Well, I wouldn't quite say that, but I certainly, my wife always teases. Let me say this differently. My wife and I have been married for over 30 years. And the only thing she's ever done that made any sense to me was she married me. After that, I've been completely
wow.
lost on all her decisions and her statements
This,
and stuff like that.
this
So
is being recorded. Am I correct?
hey,
Dude,
I
you
share
keep
that.
going. You keep going.
I share with anybody out there. It is what it is. So when I talk about design, I will readily admit I am clueless to color coordination and stuff like that.
Yes.
So I understand you're back in your office now. Yes.
Yes, it's good. I'm back for good now. I'm isolated in my office anyway, and I need to get mixing the house with the business got a little complicated, got a little tiresome, bumping into each other, my wife and I. So this is better. I can create here, and you can understand. It gets a little. You need to get out of the house,
Yeah.
to do something. So that's what I'm doing.
Well, that's an interesting topic you bring up or subject. You're talking about distractions, really, and because most of us are sheltered in place and we're in an environment that may not be our normal work environment, there are a lot of
Right.
distractions. And so, having used that concept, we're talking about public speaking. You are so much. I'm still trying to figure out what you're talking about. And with the distractions of the holidays, the distraction of COVID-19 going on, and a lot of other stuff out there yet to be mentioned, isn't this a bad time to talk about learning public speaking?
Well, is there ever a bad time for anything if you need it? So it comes down to, do most people want it or do they need it? And if someone has a need for it, it's the most powerful thing ever.
Mm-hmm.
So people have to still take a look. And when you're saying about now, I always have a vision of the future. So we got to start to decide and start to see where we're going to go. Right now, we're all feeling like we're stuck in one spot because of COVID, that this is how life is going to be. But me, I still have the dream, if you will, of getting back to live events and
Mm-hmm.
doing live seminars and workshops and selling live and sitting across the table from someone. Will things change? I don't know the percentage, show, to tell you the truth, of like how many people are just going to work now presenting on Zoom
Right.
compared to live or going back to the office. I was just having this conversation, and let me just take it there this morning with my wife. People are going to have to start to monitor how production is. If it's as good or better on Zoom, why not continue it? I don't know. I don't have that answer. Yes, I'm a live guy. I love being around people. I
Mm-hmm.
think overall people getting back and gathering, because as human beings, we are pack animals,
Right.
and we need to get the energy off of each other to create this better world.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully it'll come back. And that being said, I think if we're not talking public speaking, let's talk communication skills,
Okay.
which is pretty much the same thing as learning how to do public speaking, but you're going to learn how to communicate your message via Zoom or whatever message you or platform you'll be using.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, two things you always have to work on. I always say the messenger and the message, and now we have to decide where are we going to deliver our message.
Well, you made a phrase that I had not thought about before. You talk about communication skills. Isn't public speaking putting your communication skills into play? Or am I off on that?
Well, it's more public speaking, I would say, is more of 45 minutes of giving, like you're presenting your message,
Right.
and communication is more of a give and take. Communicating, give and take. A little more Q&A. On this here, doing this here, you got room to answer questions as they come along. When you're doing a live presentation, it kind of questions, unless you plan them into your presentation, they become a bit of a distraction. But here you can pace yourself any way you want. Listen, I like it a lot now,
Mm-hmm.
this Zoom, and how many people are actually succeeding doing it. and I hope everybody the best of success with this. But if you fine tune your public speaking skills, it'll shine through here on this platform.
I hear that, but you've kind of lost me here. I hear your explanation. I'll even say it's a good explanation. Give you benefit of the doubt on that.
Not bad.
But I also know in part for your specialty, sometimes you will invoke humor, sometimes you invoke magic, I think. And isn't that, I hear the phrase working the audience. When people, certainly if you comment, well, is it working the audience as you're public speaking, getting feedback from the audience also?
Well, it can be a facial expression, a thumbs up, whatever you might get from the audience. So, you can read a lot more of your audience as you look at your audience along the way than you can here. Mm-hmm. So here, what I started to do, and I'll give you a little tip that just worked for me, is I started to make believe like the audience was doing that anyway, because I have such a background that I know how audiences react. They don't change.
So, excuse me. So you say we've yet to figure that one out. But go ahead. I'm sorry for interrupting.
Yeah, so that's okay. Boom. It's Monday morning. It's early. So the point being is you need to use your imagination a little bit more on a platform like this compared to doing it live. Because live, you'll get the energy, you'll get the feedback, the smiles, the laughs, the chuckles, whatever it might be. Mm-hmm. Here, you gotta make believe that it's happening, and that's what changed it for me. Which where I got better was I actually realized how my regular audience would be reacting. Mm-hmm. So I just keep it in my mind that this is the same way I'm going to present and take the same energy.
Okay. Well, see, so what I'm hearing is that you have to be a little bit imaginative or a little bit psychotic. Which one is it to get into the Zoom setting to get feedback?
So far, both have worked very well for me.
I like it.
I would say it's 50-50, but I think it's 80-20 psychotic and imagination.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
That brings up another concept, another thought, public speaking. And I know people get nervous about it. They're afraid what people may think or not think about themselves. But how much of that public speaking format is a sense of being in your world that you feel is important, and it's important to get the message out to your audience. When I say important, not that they need to hear it, but at least if, as a business, if I want you to consider what I'm offering you, if I don't let you know about it, how does that not work for my business? Maybe I'm saying that badly, but
no, it's getting the message out there, and on whatever platform needs to be. The phrase I use: if you're the face of the business, make sure that people can see that face. Mm-hmm. And they associate who you are with what you do. It's so important that there's Tommy, there's Joe. Tommy does this when people are introducing to you. So people start to network for you, sell for you, at least refer for you.
Right.
So this is a great platform to stay visible, if anything. But I want to share something that I think you'll appreciate this. I think most people are going to benefit from this because most people realized it became a necessity to be on Zoom.
Right.
Now, I would say 8 out of 10 people are on it because they have to be, not that they want to be. Mm-hmm. So that being said, one of the toughest things to ever do in life is watch yourself constantly, right? You think it's tough watching an audience and how an audience's reaction is, but when you play a feedback of yourself, people hate that, watching themselves play, right? It's challenging because, and me. I have reels and reels and years of tapes of me performing that I just can't watch. I'm doing a podcast right now. I have a challenge listening to it because it's the natural thing. So that being said, people are on here now. And as you said, we started this 11 weeks ago. Little by little by little, we got better. Right. So now people have been on Zoom for 8 months.
Yeah.
So no matter who you are, they got better and better and better. So I think people are going to improve anyway, despite themselves, just by being here.
I hear that. And while we're talking about dialogue and learning things, I for the audience here, for those of you who are new to us, even if you're looking at this after the live performance in LinkedIn or YouTube or Facebook, please make your comments because we do follow up, make your suggestions, provide your questions. But also, my role again is to figure out what the hoot is Tommy talking about, because he says public speaking and confidence, they walk hand in hand. I think you got to be born that way. Tommy says it can he can help you get there. And because you should, to help your business, because you should, to help yourself and your clients. Rephrase that. It just a thought occurred to me. Not to help me so much, not to help my business so much, but if I can help you, my prospect, my clients, then all of us benefit. Well, anyway, Tommy he says he's good at what he does. He does a lot of dodging and ducking. So
he doesn't. No, he doesn't.
So what I've done, just to let you audience know, this is hot off the press, first to hear about it, I went out and I bought some red napkins and white napkins that I'm going to send to Tommy. And
all right.
That way, when he wants to give up at any given moment, he can wave the white napkin. Or if I bloody him too much, he can dab himself off with the red napkin and nobody will know the difference. So Tommy will work out an address format and even a bell. So when one of us thinks we score a point, you and I will work out the logistics on that. But I just got that stuff this past weekend.
It's my Christmas gift. I should have. Thank you so much.
Well, by all means, absolutely. If you want to know my Christmas list, I'd be happy to mail it to you also as part of the package.
Well, no, I know what I'm getting. I'm getting you smelling sauce. So we can go
again. All right, here we go. In fact, maybe I should say that for you also. We learn so much about each other, folks. And what I like about this experience for me, Tommy was just saying to learn and not to get too philosophical, and I don't like to give long verbiage, but this one author or philosopher says that throughout human history, that the most creative moments have occurred during moments of chaos. And it makes perfect sense because we're knocked out of our comfort zone. And either we choose to respond to it like a warm-blooded mammal, or like the dinosaurs just get frozen out by the ice age that came along behind that. So Tommy and I chose to, likely if it hadn't been for COVID-19, Tommy and I would not be developing the relationship that we're developing now. And I have no doubt both ourselves and the people we respond with will all benefit also. So that's my commercial break.
Nice.
Thank you. For those who, again, we're not signing off just yet, but to let you know, if you're looking at this after the fact, 8 a.m. is just too early in the day for you. Please make your comments and share back. We get a lot of likes coming through, a lot of views coming through after the fact, and we understand that. So I'm going to ask you, Tommy, is there anything you'd like to take us home with on this in terms of what's the thought for the day somebody should keep in mind as we move forward through this rest of this week?
Well, you said something philosophical, which is like, wow, I don't know. You must have worked on that since Thursday. But
I do prepare for you.
Prepare for yourself. I'm okay. But, the phrase I've always used, and you just bring it to my mind, and as a public speaker, these thoughts are always in my head that I can plug in during my presentation. Mm-hmm. But out of confusion comes order, and I love that phrase. We start out confused, but out of confusion comes order.
Well, excuse me, Tommy, when you get to that point of coming out with order, let me know when you've gotten there.
I'm working on it. I'm on my way. But, we're all confused in the beginning of everything we start to do, public speaking, business, whatever it might be. Baking a cake, right? Without a recipe, without a process to follow. Mm-hmm. And that's the secret to it is when you discover and you can create a process that you follow, it'll help you in your business, in your sales, in your presentations, in your communication skills, where you follow a process. That's really what life is. It's a bunch of behaviors that we do. Everybody thinks like, me being a public speaker, it's just learned behaviors that I learned. Mm-hmm. And now I just apply the behavior everywhere I go. And it makes me look like me.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that. Because he keeps saying learn.
I threw you a softball.
That's right. He keeps saying learn. I'm still thinking learning. So we'll see.
Yeah, learned. I am learned.
And actually, to say that differently, it is true. For those of us who keep growing, it's because we're always learning. I was speaking to a lady the other day in another group, and she says she's always confused. I said, because you're always learning. And once you learn one item, one skill, you're on to something else.
That's great.
And so I guess I don't want to ever talk in past tense of what I've learned. Historically, that's important, but not in terms of where I want to go. So I'm always on a learning curve, hopefully a positive one. So,
yeah, it's, the phrase, Zig always used to say, be a lifetime learner. Mm-hmm. Why not? Why not? You know,
Okay.
the phrase I use all the time is when you're green, you grow. When you're ripe, you rot.
Ah, never heard
Yeah.
that one. Maybe
Yes.
maybe that explains the bad smell I'm even getting through the computer with you.
You know what it is? I'm not rot. I want to stay as green as possible. I don't want to rot just yet.
I hear that. I'm with you on that one also. Well, folks, again, this is a good one, a good session. Again, remember to share your comments and your questions, your thoughts, what we might be talking about. And like I say, I can use all the help I can get with this Tommy guy because he is artful doing the rope-a-dope and bobbing and weaving all around me.
Yeah.
So again, we'll work out logistics of your address so I can send you the props that you'll need to help get through this program. Anything?
Yeah. You know, just like us, share us, go to our YouTube and connect with us so we know and let people know about it. But more importantly, if anybody or anyone you know could be challenged with presentations, you know, jump on, throw us a question. We'd be glad to answer for it. You know, and if I don't have the answer, I'll ask Joe because he knows everything.
Yeah, well, not quite. You asked my wife about that one. But again, hopefully you've enjoyed it, group and folks, and you've also learned from it more importantly. Tommy, again, thank you very much. We'll sign off now.
Good seeing you. Happy Monday.